Good evening, welcome back to Daily Red Devil for all of your latest Manchester United transfer news and talk, and it is transfer deadline day. We've got 5 hours until the window closes and we've got so much to get into. But before we jump into that, please do smash a like on the video and please do subscribe to the channel if you are new. So we are going to be talking a bit about Sofyan Amrabat, as well as Donny van de Beek, Mason Greenwood, Johnny Evans, Scott McTominay, Eric Bailly, Bayender, a couple of other people as well. There's lots and lots going on. There's still some deals that are going to happen before the window closes. So everybody, get yourself comfy, get yourself settled in, get involved in the comment section. Let me know how you're feeling. So let's have a little look at what deals can still happen in the next 5 hours of the window. So obviously Sofyan Amrabat is the main one. That's the priority here. He is currently flying on a private jet from Florence over to the UK, to Manchester, in order to complete this deal. So it's a race against time, but I see no reason why we won't be able to get this deal done. 5 hours until the window closes. Fabrizio Romano has confirmed in the last couple of hours that apparently Sofyan Amrabat has already completed the first part of his medical tests as new Manchester United player, and he's now set to fly to Manchester. This was 2 hours ago. There's been video footage put up on Twitter of him driving to the airport, about to board the private jet. This was about 2 hours ago, so he will be in the air now. He'll be on the way. I've tried to have a look on Flight Tracker to find the plane, but I haven't been able to do that. So if there's any of you in the chat who do those types of things, do let us know whereabouts in the world Amrabat is flying over right now. But the most important bit of what I was trying to tell you there is that he has done his medical already. He's completed his first part of his medical test. So he'll come to Manchester. He'll obviously have to do his marketing pictures. He'll probably have to do a couple more tests, and then they'll announce this deal. There obviously is always a slim chance that the deal might fall through. Things can happen. But at this point, I think we've got more than enough time to get him over here, get the rest of his medical done, get the photos taken, and then announce the signing. But let me know in the comment section, guys, how excited are you about the Amrabat signing? I am really excited about it. You know how important I thought this transfer was. I said he was going to be our most influential signing of the summer, and I'm going to stick by that. I genuinely believe that. I think what he's going to be able to bring to that midfield, when you go away against teams like Manchester City, teams like Liverpool, even like Chelsea, Arsenal, he's going to completely revolutionise that midfield. Because imagine a midfield of Casemiro and Amrabat with Bruno Fernandes as the cam. That is an absolute brute of a midfield, both of those two. Like, you're not going to get overrun by any team, I don't think, with that midfield. I genuinely don't believe that. I genuinely do believe that. I think they're quality. I think they're both tough. You saw the kind of tackles that Amrabat was putting in the World Cup. I remember well the one in I think it was the semi-final against France, wasn't it? And he absolutely took out Kylian Mbappe, and I think he won the ball as well. So it wasn't it wasn't like it was a bad tackle. It was just like a really, really hard tackle that he did on Mbappe, didn't he? So it's the kind of thing you need in the Premier League. You need physicality, and Amrabat and Casemiro together, that is just literally the definition of physicality. And then that allows Bruno Fernandes to push further up the pitch, to have more attacking options, whilst knowing that you've got a solid defensive midfield pair. So I'm really excited about that. And you know what? I genuinely would be starting them most games. I get it if you're at home. If you're at home against Luton, yes, you can start Mason Mount, Bruno and Casemiro. But I think most of the games in the Premier League are difficult now. You know, if Brighton come to Old Trafford, I would be starting Amrabat and Casemiro as well as Bruno. I don't think Mason Mount's going to get that much game time personally. And you might even see Mason Mount being pushed out to the right wing, I think, because obviously there are question marks about Anthony, and we know that Mason Mount can play on the right as well as in the central midfield position. So I do just wonder whether we will see more of Mason Mount in the more kind of wing positions. Now, the thing you do have to consider as well is Mason Mount's going to be injured for a couple of months, I believe, isn't he? So at least until after the international break. So yeah, I think this is a massive, massive signing. But let me know how you're feeling. Are you excited about Sofyan Amrabat? How would you rate this signing out of 10? Would you say this is our most important signing of the summer? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section. For me, I'm gonna put myself out there, and I'm gonna say that Sofyan Amrabat is our most influential signing of the summer. I think he was what we needed the most. I think a goalkeeper is close second, but the striker, obviously we needed a striker, but I don't think Højlund's going to have as much impact as Amrabat will in his first season. Hopefully I'm wrong. Hopefully they all have an equal amount of impact, but I just have this feeling that Amrabat's going to come in and he's going to completely blow our minds away. I also want you guys to let me know what you would rate our transfer window out of 10 so far. Get in the comment section, let me know what your rating is out of 10, and I will give you mine out of 10 in a minute. I'm going to try and just take a couple of minutes to fully process what's happened. But yeah, let me know in the comment section, guys. How much are you rating this transfer window out of 10? Right, let's move on to the next story, though. Let's talk a little bit about Scott McTominay. Now, this was somebody that I did hope was going to leave today. I really, really did think that Scott McTominay was going to go. Obviously, we spoke about it on the show this morning that Fulham were interested in Scott McTominay and were going to put in a bid. There's a story coming out from Fabrizio Romano in the last couple of minutes saying that apparently Fulham tried last minute to sign Scott McTominay, but there was no deal on the player's side. So, just to be very, very clear, Manchester United were clearly willing to do this deal with Fulham, but the player, Scott McTominay, was not willing to move. I don't know what that says about Scott McTominay. Like, he's going to be sat on the bench just like Harry Maguire. Is going from Manchester United to Fulham, going from being a bench player to a starting player, is that really a drop in his career? I think that's actually a step up for him, to go from somebody who's probably going to play 10 minutes of a game here and there to being the starting midfielder for Fulham, who had a really good season last year. Now, I know Fulham obviously aren't as glamorous as Manchester United, but to be still starting every game for a Premier League club, that is a massive, massive achievement versus being sat on the bench and coming on for 5 or 10 minutes at the end of a game. Is that really that good? So yeah, I'm a little bit disappointed in that. And obviously the knock-on effect of this is the Paulinho deal to Bayern Munich has now fallen through because apparently Fulham could not find a replacement in time. They tried to get Amrabat, obviously that didn't happen. They tried to get Scott McTominay, he rejected the move. And there wasn't anybody else they could get. Because you've got to remember, right, the German transfer window closed at 5 p.m. So that's already closed. No deals no incomings can go into Germany now. The window's closed. So that deal has fallen through. And you know what? It's one of those ones where I think at the end of the season next year, we will really, really think, why did we not accept that bid from McTominay from West Ham? We had a £30 million bid on the table from West Ham, and I think 30 million was fair at the time. Obviously, we accepted the Harry Maguire bid, but we refused to pay him off. Imagine if we had have got rid of both of them. We would have had an extra 50 million in the bank. We could have gone and got a striker. We could have gone and got Jean-Claire Todibo. Imagine if we were sat here right now, okay? And we'd signed Amrabat, Rasmus Højlund, Onana, Bayender, and Mason Mount. Those 5 is what we've signed. Imagine if McTominay and Maguire had gone and we could say that we'd also signed Marcus Leonardo and Jean-Claire Todibo. If we had those 7 players, I would have given the window probably like a 9 out of 10. But where we are today, knowing that we've only brought in Bayender, who, okay, I don't really know much about, but I wouldn't say he's going to be a lot better than Dean Henderson. Do you think that's fair to say? He's going to be a backup goalkeeper ultimately. We've brought in Mason Mount, who I don't think many of you really wanted, and most of you seem to be saying I don't like already. So that's a bit of a questionable one. Onana, obviously that's a great signing. Rasmus Højlund's a great signing, and Amrabat's a great signing. I would probably give the window like ingoings. I'd probably say a 6 out of 10 for ingoings. Okay, for outgoings, probably like a 2 out of 10, a 3 out of 10. Because the players that we did actually let go, we let go for such a small amount of money. We let Fred go for 8.5 million. I mean, that's a joke, isn't it? 8.5 million for Fred. Alanga for 15 million. I think that was all right. I think that was quite a good deal. Henderson for 15. Again, that's not really a good deal. Telles for 4. Like, we only raised 49 million pounds in sales. So you can't really rate our outgoings very highly because we got rid of 10 players and we only raised 49 million pounds. And we didn't get rid of Maguire. We didn't get rid of Scott McTominay. And we're still talking about Donny van de Beek. And we'll talk about that in a minute. So overall, I've given it a 6 out of 10 for the signings, the players coming into the club. And I'm giving it a 2 out of 10 for the outgoing. So what does that equal overall? 4 out of 10. So yeah, my rating for the window is 4 out of 10. But let me know what yours is in the comment section. Gordo says we've spent 180 million pounds, but are potentially weaker as a team. Mate, I don't blame you. Yeah, I agree. I agree in some ways. I think we are weaker at this moment in time. But yeah, let's just say though, right? The fact that we get to see Rasmus Højlund play on Sunday, that is a massive, massive positive. So if anybody missed that, Rasmus Højlund has been training with the first team all of this week. He is now fully fit and he is available to start. So we will see Rasmus Højlund against Arsenal on Sunday. And I'm just praying that, that he starts the game. I think Erik ten Hag said in his press conference earlier that he's ready to start. So I would definitely start him. I know he's been injured. I know all the rest of it. People say you should bring him in slowly. But, you know, we've spent 65 million pounds plus add-ons on him. We can't be weaning him in. We need a striker. We don't have a striker. So he's got to play for me. He really, really does. Jimmy says City got 40 million for an under 21. Yeah, I know, mate. I know. It is frustrating. Very frustrating, but hopefully, let's all just take this moment, all right? Hopefully this is the last window ever under the Glazers. Hopefully the Glazers now leave. Hopefully we get this announcement in the next couple of weeks that the new owners are coming in, and hopefully it all gets revealed that this whole financial fair play, all of this stuff was actually because Manchester United were waiting for new owners to come in and they didn't want to spend more money. Let's just hope that that's what happens. Right, let's talk about a couple of outgoings though really quickly. So we've got a bit of an update on Eric Bailly and Donny van de Beek for you. I just want to say now, if Eric Bailly and Donny van de Beek go, I think the window would probably go up to like a 4.5 out of 10 because we're leaving it this late in the window. Eric Bailly is going to go for nothing, and Donny van de Beek, like, you're not going to believe how much money we're getting for Donny van de Beek. We'll tell you in a minute. But so apparently Manchester United hope that Eric Bailly and Donny van de Beek will leave before the transfer deadline. So there's no guarantee that either of them are going to go, but it does look like those are the two most likely people to leave before the window ends. Now, there's a couple of clubs who have apparently inquired about Eric Bailly: Fulham, Nottingham Forest, a couple of others as well. Whether that happens or not, I don't know. I think Manchester United at this stage are willing to just let Eric Bailly go for free. They're happy to rip up his contract and let him go, mutually terminate it and let him leave. Which is a bit of a shame because you would have hoped that you could have got a couple of £1 million for Eric Bailly from a club in Saudi. You know, the fact that they bought Koulibaly from Chelsea, who, like, he's a better footballer than Eric Bailly, obviously, but I wouldn't say he's, you know, levels above. And they paid, let me just double check. I mean, Saudi paid 23 million euros for him, and he's 32 years of age for Koulibaly. Eric Bailly's only 29. He's 3 years younger than Koulibaly. And we are still sat here on transfer deadline day trying to get him out of the club as a free agent. I mean, that just kind of says it all, doesn't it? It's a little bit of a joke, isn't it? But yeah. As long as he goes, I think that's the most important thing because we need to just clear wages. He's on around £100,000 a week. Whether he'll go to a Premier League club, I'm not sure. Obviously, he is injury prone. Apparently, Fulham are really pushing to get Eric Bailly, though. And you know what? As I just said, at this point, I literally don't care anymore. Just let him go for free. If there's no money involved in it, then so be it. If we can get a couple of million for him, then so be it. But I think at this stage, it doesn't look like we're going to get any money for him, does it? Now, let's move over to Donny van de Beek, another person who I think will be attracting interest in these final hours of the window. Donny van de Beek has apparently had an offer from Galatasaray. So Galatasaray have apparently offered £1 million loan bid, which has been rejected by Manchester United. The story goes on to say a deal could be struck after the English window closes, with the Turkish market remaining open until September the 15th. So that's a really key bit of information here to remember, right? Obviously, there's people like Mason Greenwood, there's people like Eric Bailly, there's people like Donny van de Beek who were all sat here saying, what's going on with them? Are they staying? Are they going? Just because our window closes today, not all of the windows around Europe close. So Turkey's window closes in about 2 weeks' time. The Saudi Arabian window closes in about a week. So there's still plenty of opportunities to get some of these people like Eric Bailly, like Donny van de Beek, and like Mason Greenwood a move, but it just might not be today. So do remember that. If at the end of the day, Eric Bailly is still here, it's not all doom and gloom because he can still move to Turkey. He could still move to Saudi Arabia. The same with Donny and the same with Mason Greenwood. So it's not now or never for those three players. So just remember that, all right? Don't be like really negative, like how the hell is Eric Bailly still here? I know it's frustrating, but stuff still can change. Hendrik says Eric Bailly is better than Johnny Evans. Mate, I don't disagree with you. I do. I would honestly say that Eric Bailly, when he's fully fit and in good form, is more useful to Manchester United than Harry Maguire. Now, I'm not saying he's a better player because he's a different player, but for how Erik ten Hag wants to play football, I think Eric Bailly is actually more suited to what Erik ten Hag wants because he's faster. He's definitely better on the ball as well. Harry Maguire is slow. You can't play a high line with Harry Maguire. So I am a little bit confused as to why we are letting go of Harry Maguire. But from what I've been hearing, apparently there's been some sort of fallout behind the scenes. I don't know the full story of it, but it looks like he's been fully frozen out of the team. He was training on his own. He wasn't with the rest of the squad and all the rest of it. So yeah, it is what it is. We've got over 1,000 people watching today on transfer deadline day. Big ups to everybody. Please do smash a like on the video. Please do subscribe to the channel if you are new here. Obviously, we will still be doing the channel after transfer deadline day. So do make sure you subscribe and do get involved in the community. This is our first ever transfer window together. So I do hope you've enjoyed it. I've really enjoyed being part of the... the transfer window. Now, just a really quick one. Obviously, Manchester United have confirmed 2 deals today. One of them is Altay Bayındır. from Fenerbahce for €5 million. And we've also confirmed the signing of Reguilon from Tottenham. So we've got 2 players through the door. Obviously, we are waiting for the Amrabat deal to be made official, which I do expect to happen. I'm not worried about that one falling through. I would say I'm 90% sure that we will get this Amrabat deal over the line. We'll have to wait and see. Now, there was one thing I wanted to touch on really, really quickly is the Jonny Evans deal. So Jonny Evans has officially just signed a new contract at Manchester United. He will stay here for 1 season. This has been confirmed by Laurie Whitwell. It's been confirmed by the club itself. How does everybody feel about that? Are you happy that Jonny Evans will be here for the whole season? For me personally, I don't have any issue with it. I know people are going to say we're Manchester United, we shouldn't be, giving Jonny Evans a contract. Like, what's that about? We can do better. I get it, I do. But at the end of the day, Erik ten Hag is the manager. Erik ten Hag is the one who picks the team. He's the one who watches them in training. And if he thinks that that Jonny Evans can offer something, then, I'm all for it. So fair play to Jonny Evans. He's got his contract. He's here till the end of the season. Obviously, it's a free agent. It didn't cost us any money. We'll just have to cover his wages. And Jonny Evans has said the following. He says, I am delighted to join Manchester United, a place which has always felt like home. This club plus the fans have shaped me as a player, plus as a person since I was 15 years of age. So you know what the most important thing is about this one is? Obviously, Jonny Evans knows what it means to be a Manchester United player. He played under the greatest manager ever, Erik ten Hag, Sir Alex Ferguson. He's won Champions Leagues. He's won Premier Leagues. He knows what it means to be a Manchester United player. He has the right mentality. Yes, he's not a world-class centre-back anymore, and maybe he never was. But I said this to you many times before, guys. I would have much rather have Jonny Evans in our team than Harry Maguire. I don't rate Harry Maguire. I don't. And I would have happily let Harry Maguire go. But let me know what your thoughts are on that one. How do you feel about Jonny Evans getting a new contract? Do you think it's the right decision? I have no issue with it. I have zero issue with it. And maybe this now means that in January, Harry Maguire goes. Maybe another club in the Premier League gets a bad injury and maybe Manchester United then sell Harry Maguire in January. Remember, there is a window in 3 months' time. So I know people are like, oh my God, Harry Maguire's still here. Scott McTominay. Like, I get it. People are annoyed. But in literally 12 weeks from now, the window will open again. So we haven't got very long until the window reopens. And I know lots of clubs don't do business in January, but if we've got new owners by January, I would not be surprised at all if they get rid of they get rid of Harry Maguire and Scott McTominay, because they're going to want to be bringing in better people. They're going to want to bring in people like Jean-Claire Todibo, maybe somebody like, obviously Gravenberch would have been top of the list, but he's going to Liverpool. There's plenty of players out there available that new owners would aim to go for. Now, I've got a little bit of a fun question for you to throw into the mix. So say we get new owners before the January transfer window. Who would you say should be the number 1 target for the January transfer window? So let's just assume that this window ends as it is. We get Amrabat and that's it, okay? We don't sign any more people. Who would you say should be the number 1 priority in January? Let me know in the comment section below. Just for the purpose of this question, let's assume that we've got new owners. Because if we haven't got new owners, we're probably going to get no one. Let's assume that Sheikh Jassim comes in, he gets the money. Who would you then want to go and sign? Let me know your thoughts. So it's 16 weeks until the window opens again. Malp says we won't do any business until January unless we get Qatar. Yeah, 100% agree with you, mate. We're only going to do business in January if Qatar comes in. But I want you to let me know who would be your pick if Qatar do come in. Let me know in the comment section. Right. Okay, let's move on to the next story, though. I'm just seeing if there's anything else breaking since we've been live, because obviously stuff does just keep coming in as and when you are doing, especially on transfer deadline day. Do you know what's funny, right? I just want to mention this quickly. So we haven't even signed Amrabat yet, right? And Manchester Evening News are already putting out articles saying Manchester United could lose Onana and Amrabat for a month. So they're already rubbing salt in the wounds, aren't they? We haven't even signed the guy. And Manchester Evening News are putting out a story that we're going to lose them in January because of African Cup of Nations. It's just like, come on. Let us have our couple minutes of excitement, please, before you start telling us we're going to lose them. It's just what it is, isn't it? Right, let's talk a little bit about Mason Greenwood quickly then. So obviously we spoke earlier on today about Mason Greenwood being made available as a free agent and potentially going to Lazio. Now, there's a story coming out this afternoon saying that a number of clubs have withdrawn their interest in Mason Greenwood following backlash from their fans over potential moves on social media once they identified him as a target. So I think this is going to be a big issue for Mason going forward. I do. Obviously, the Saudi clubs aren't interested in him. there was interest from Turkey, there was interest from Italy, but all of that interest seems to be frozen because as soon as, Lazio get linked to him, their fans get angry and say we don't want him, and then they pull out, So I honestly don't know what's going to happen for him. Like, I really, really don't. Remember that we are still paying his wages at the moment, so he's not, he's not going hungry. His rent's still being paid. He's got no issues financially, but from a footballing perspective, yeah. I don't know, but let me know what you think about that one. Let me know. I'm going to get a poll going as well now. We've hit our like target for the video, so I'm going to get a poll going. If you are just joining now, please do smash a like on the video. Please do subscribe to the channel if you are new. I'm going to get a poll set up right now. Okay, so right, so the question's going to be, what would you rate the transfer window out of 10? Okay. All right, so I'm just going to get this poll set up for you now, guys. Give me 1 second. 6, 4. All right, I can only do... All right, so I'm not going to do 10 because no one's going to do 10, are they? 4, 2. All right, there we go. All right, so get involved in the poll. The question is, what would you rate the transfer window out of 10? Obviously, I can only do 4 options, so I did ones that I thought would be the most likely. Somebody says -5 out of 10. Come on, be serious. And there's a little bit. We just spoke about the Donny van de Beek thing, didn't we? I feel like my brain might be stopping. Yeah, we did. So obviously, yeah, the Donny to Galatasaray, they were only willing to offer us £1 million as a loan fee, which is obviously ridiculous. When you think that I think he's on 120 grand a week. So I think about 2 months worth of his salary would be £1 million. Ridiculous. So I'm glad we didn't do that. Do get some questions in the live chat as well. I will read out some of your questions in a couple of minutes time. But yeah, and get involved in the poll as well if you haven't already. What does everybody think? I know this isn't a Liverpool channel, but what does everybody think about the Mohamed Salah story that's just come out? Apparently, Al Ittihad are willing to pay £200 million for Mohamed Salah. I mean, that is absolutely mad, isn't it? Liverpool have just rejected a £150 million bid for Mohamed Salah, and apparently they're going to come back with a bid as high as 200 million. I mean, it's absolutely mad, isn't it? It's crazy that football's gone this way. Like, I honestly don't know what to think. Pablo says, how is our team weaker? I think the comment earlier on where someone said the team was weaker, I think their reasoning for that is that we've let go of 10 players this window, right? It'll be more than that by the end of the window as well. So it was 10 players like yesterday, and we'd only signed 3. Obviously now we've signed 4 with the goalkeeper, but I just think that we need more squad depth. I think that's why people are saying our squad's weaker. Obviously you got rid of Ronaldo in January, correct decision. We've only now just signed Rasmus Højlund. We still need another striker. Mason Greenwood's gone. Should have probably replaced him. Fred has been replaced with Amrabat. That's solid. Onana replacing David De Gea, that's solid. But when you look at the team overall, Varane's injured, Luke Shaw's injured, Mason Mount's injured. Like, we are quite weak at the moment. Obviously, that's no fault of Erik ten Hag. That's just a fault of the amount of games that they had to play. But yeah, it is what it is, isn't it? But what I will say is, though, the one thing that I'm really, really happy about in this transfer window is the amount of wages we've cleared. We've cleared £68.4 million worth of wages in one transfer window. That is incredible. To put into context, our total wage bill was about 200 million at the beginning. So we cleared about a third of our wage bill in one window. That is amazing. And that will really, really help us going into future seasons, because obviously the wages are a vital part of the financial fair play model. So big ups to Manchester United for doing that. Obviously getting rid of people like David De Gea. Some people were unsure about it. David De Gea was on £20 million a year. Getting rid of people like Fred, £6 million a year. Henderson, £5.2 million a year. Even Alex Telles, he was on £5 million a year. Like, we've really, really done well on the outgoings in the sense of getting rid of players who were never going to play football for us. I mean, even this, right? Phil Jones. Phil Jones was being paid £4 million a year by Manchester United. Tuanzebe. When was the last time you saw Tuanzebe play football? He was getting paid £2.6 million per year. So we have done well in that sense. And I am happy about the, I don't want to call them deadwood, but, the people who are surplus to requirements, let's call it. So that is positive. Obviously, there are a couple more people that we need to get rid of, like Anthony Martial. he's on 200. I think he's, let me double check that. I don't want to get it wrong. I think he's on 250 grand a week. Yeah, Anthony Martial is on 250 grand a week, which is 13 million pounds per year. There's people like that we still need to remove. Obviously, if like Martial had gone, Scott McTominay had gone, Harry Maguire had gone, we could have easily had a 10 out of 10 window, I think. But obviously, this isn't FIFA. Sometimes just things don't happen. Like today, Scott McTominay had an offer from Fulham. They wanted to buy him, but he didn't want to go. And there's not really much you can do about it, is there? You can't force them out of the club. Mark says, wages cleared, players sold, £99 million from Adidas. Whose pocket is that in? It's not on the pitch or in the facilities. Mate, I agree with you 100%, but I am just looking at it now like the Glazers have to be going, because I don't see why we'd be where we are right now if they were staying. I just honestly think that there's something happened behind the scenes, and they've said, don't spend any more money, clear as many players from the wage bill as possible, try and make it as clean a slate for when the new owners come in, so they can come in and just kind of, you know, get started straight away. That's just my opinion. If we're sat here in a week's time and the Glazers announce they're staying and they think that the summer transfer window we've had is enough to warrant them staying, then obviously that would be a massive worry, because we're not, like, are you guys really going to be happy if, you know, the Glazers say, oh, we're staying, we signed Amrabat? You'd be like, what? I said this at the beginning of the window, right? Even if we signed Neymar, Mbappe, Bellingham, you know, Frankie de Jong, you know, even if we bought all of these ridiculously big players, everyone's still going to be Glazers out. No one's going to change their stance. No matter how much money they spend now, it's always going to be Glazers out. And you know they're not going to do that anyway, so it's a stupid argument. But yeah, it's always going to be Glazers out until they are fully gone. Emmy says, do you play FIFA or Football Manager? I play FIFA sometimes, not very often. And I again, with Football Manager, not really, to be honest, no. I have done in the past, but not for a very long time. Somebody says, what happened to the Adidas 900 million deal? Apparently the Adidas deal doesn't start till next season though. So just to be clear, the new Adidas 90 million pounds, I think it's 90 million a season, isn't it, for 10 seasons, starts next season. So we haven't got that yet. Joe says, what do you think about Anthony Taylor, the ref who sent off Casemiro? He would be the ref for the United Arsenal game this Sunday. Will that hold Casemiro into playing his style differently? Mate, I don't rate Anthony Taylor. I don't think he's a very good referee. So yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure what to think. I am quite worried about the game against Arsenal, but I think Rasmus Højlund being back is a massive boost. Obviously, we've got Reguilon, who obviously I haven't seen for probably 2 or 3 years play football, but to have a left back available, just to be very, very clear as well, Reguilon, Bayinda, and Johnny Evans have all been registered for the game against Arsenal. So they'll all be available for the Arsenal game. Obviously, Amrabat, I don't think will be able to be available for that game now because he hasn't signed and it's like 6:30 at night. Obviously, Rasmus Højlund will be available as well. So I think a draw would be good against Arsenal, I think. But I don't know. I am worried about that game. Our away form is absolutely awful. What are your score predictions for the game tomorrow, on Sunday? Let me know your thoughts. Right, let's read out a couple of questions quickly. Where are we? Amnat says, waiting for our full squad after the injury overcome. I want to see Ahmad, Kobe, Shaw, Varane, Mount with this entire squad. That would be strong depth. What's your thoughts? Yeah, mate, I agree. I do think we have enough depth once all the players are fit. But obviously, when you've got like Kobe Mainoo injured, you've got Varane injured, Luke Shaw, Mason Mount, Amad Diallo. There's 5 or 6 players who are first team or very close to being in the first team who are injured. So we're just a bit unlucky, and you just have to hope that they all come back after the international break and some of them are ready to go. That's what we've got to hope for, really, isn't it? Somebody's saying 200 million bids gone in for Salah. I mean, that's absolutely mad, isn't it? People talking about the protest as well. Let me have a quick look about the protest. Obviously, there's meant to be a protest at 6 o'clock outside the stadium. I haven't seen anything about it yet, to be honest. I've not seen a single thing. Usually it does come onto Twitter, doesn't it? But there's nothing on Twitter at the moment, so we'll have to keep you updated on that one. Somebody's saying 225 million for Salah. That's ridiculous. Gordo says, where do our goals come from this season? That is an interesting survey. I think Rasmus Højlund. I do. I think Rasmus Højlund's who we're relying on to get goals. I think he's going to get 15 goals in the Prem. That was my prediction. But yeah, other than that, obviously Rashford at the moment doesn't look like he's in very good form. I think he will change that though. I think he will start being better, you know, pick up some form in the next kind of few weeks. He's one of those players, Rashford, isn't it, where he needs a bit of confidence. Once he gets the confidence, he then starts banging in goals. Do you know what I mean? Like, he takes a little while to warm up. Hendrik says, do you think Reguilon will start? I think he should, yeah. I think Reguilon should start. The international break is 2 weeks, I believe, Queen Bee. Yeah, I think it's 2 weeks for the international break. Marp says, Reguilon. Reguilon. Is that how you say it? Reguilon. Oh, I have no idea. Albert says, can Amrabat play against Arsenal? I don't think so, mate. I don't. I think they had to be signed up by 12 o'clock this afternoon, so I don't think he can, unfortunately, mate. Which is disappointing because, you know, bringing in Amrabat was for the games like against Arsenal away from home. That's what we needed him for. The Manchester Cities, the rest of it. But yeah, I don't know. I'm pretty sure he can't play. Somebody says, is Man United signing any strikers to replace Mason Greenwood? I don't think so, mate. I don't think so. I honestly think that it's just going to be Amrabat. I think that's it. There's less than 3 hours. Sorry, there's 4.5 hours left of the window. I would be very, very surprised if we get another signing other than Amrabat. I'd be shocked. Obviously, you never know. Stranger things have happened in the past, but who are we going to get at this moment in time who's going to be able to get to England, to Manchester within the next 3 or so hours to, you know, to do a medical? There is a bit of breaking news about an outgoing quickly. So Charlie McNeil has joined Stevenage on a season-long loan. Now, Charlie McNeil is obviously somebody who a lot of people think should be breaking through into the first team in the next kind of 2 to 3 years. Obviously, that's really, really good that he's got a loan move. Hopefully, he does well there. So yeah, let's wish Charlie McNeil all the best. Lumen says, who should get the credit for Amrabat? The only person who should get the credit for the Amrabat deal is Amrabat. Genuinely. Amrabat is the only one because Manchester United did everything they possibly can to mess up that deal. Amrabat has rejected so many different clubs for Manchester United. Like, if I bought Manchester United shirts, I would genuinely buy an Amrabat shirt, but I don't buy shirts. So, yeah, I mean, the only reason this deal has happened is because of his persistence, because of his agent. Nothing to do with Manchester United. It's taken them literally we're less than 5 hours before the window's closed and we still haven't signed him. So the only person you can give credit really is Amrabat. Dafford says, do you think we will sign anyone else? I think a lone striker. I don't think so, mate. I don't. Potentially, but we'll have to wait and see what happens, mate. We'll have to wait and see. I just think it'll be Amrabat now. Paul says, our kids beat Arsenal in New York. I'm not as afraid as Arsenal as I was last season. Obviously, they just drew with Fulham at home. I think a draw would be a good result. I'm not going to Arsenal saying we're going to get battered. I would be surprised if we got battered. I think it'll be a good game, but I don't think we'll win, personally. But that's just my opinion. What else have we got? Mel says, hey, love your content. Love the way you do your best on keeping things positive. Keep up the excellent work. Thank you so much to every single one of you for your support throughout the whole of this transfer window and throughout the whole of the last 12 weeks of doing this channel. I really, really do appreciate it. And obviously, it's going to be different when the season starts. Like, it's going to be different content. So we're probably going to get more people on the show. So there'll be other people talking. It won't just be me. There'll be me and others. So it will probably be a little bit more different content. It won't just be transfer focused, but I hope everybody's still into that. I know the transfer window is quite exciting, but obviously we're not going to talk about transfers when the transfer window is not on, unless there's obviously a story that's like reliable and all the rest of it. But Malps, okay, we've got a bit of a, controversial. It's an opinion. It's probably going to be different to a lot of others, but I'll read it out. I think it's a good point. Malp says, I don't get this obsession with Amrabat. He's not world class at all. I wouldn't say he's world class, no. I mean, world class is Casemiro in his prime. Would you say Casemiro is still world class? There's a question for you. Let me know that in the comment section. I mean, who would you say is world class as a CDM? Rodri? I mean, who else is world class, really? I would say Casemiro was world class last season, I thought, but this season he's been a little bit slower. Obviously, I'm not going to judge him off 2 games. I think it's quite difficult with like CDMs, isn't it? But yeah, let me know. I would say he's a very good player, Amrabat. Maybe he's not in the world class category, but what is world class to you? Let me know. Let me know what world class is to you, because, I mean, he got to the semi-final of the World Cup with Morocco, yeah? And he looked really good in that. Playing against France, he was one of the best players on the pitch. So it depends on what you're, comparing it to. Malb says, I'm controversial. Yeah, well, you are. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that, though. It's just an opinion. Loomis says, Kieran, do you think United are now cautious in buying players after flops like Fred and Fellaini, and that's why we went for loan for Amrabat? I don't think so, mate. I think it's just because of the finances. They don't want to spend any more money. Bringing in him on loan makes sense in a financial term. Bringing in the goalkeeper for £4 million and selling Dean Henderson for 20, that doesn't raise any eyebrows. Reguilon is a loan. Like, we haven't bought anybody since Amrabat. Since Højlund. I know we're about to buy the goalkeeper, aren't we? But I don't know. All right, let's have a read of a few more. Urban says, Kieran, do you expect any takeover news after the international break? Yeah, mate, I honestly do think that the takeover is going to happen. I do. I think before January, the takeover will go through. Somebody's saying something about Olivier Giroud in the comment section. I mean, where the hell has that story come? Big ups to Jimmy, who's just gifted 5 memberships. Whoever gets the memberships, please do say thank you to Jimmy. Absolute legend, mate. Really, really appreciate your support. Thank you for that. If anybody does want to join the members club, I'm going to drop a link in the chat to do that now. Obviously, any support you can give to the channel is, of course, appreciated. So big ups to Jimmy. All the people who've got a membership, please do say thank you to Jimmy in the live chat. Now, yeah, somebody in the chat's asking me about Giroud. I mean, where is this story come from? I mean, I can't see anything about Giroud anywhere, so I don't know where this Giroud story's come from. If somebody can tell me where you're seeing Manchester United are linked to Giroud, please tell me, because I can see nothing anywhere on the internet about Giroud to Manchester United. So if anybody's getting some information from somewhere which I'm not seeing, please do let me know. Yeah, I mean, there's literally nothing. I've just gone on Google, I've typed in Giroud Manchester United stories in the last hour, and there's not a single article on the whole of the internet, not one. So I don't know where that's come from. I don't think Manchester United are going to get Giroud. Nigel says, why are so many Man United fans negative all the time? Why don't they start supporting another club? You know what, mate? I think it's just because of how successful we've been over the last, well, maybe not over the last 10 years, but over the last 20 years minus the last 10 years, if that makes sense. Obviously, I'm 29, so we stopped being successful when I was about 18. I had all of the glory moments when between like 10 and 18. You know what I mean? All the time before that, I was obviously young, so I don't remember it very well. But yeah, from about 18 onwards, it's been pretty miserable. And I think most people, expect things from Manchester United. They expect us to beat every single team. They expect us to win the league. They expect us to be competing in the Champions League. And like, to just be completely honest, right? We're just not in that point at the moment, but I get it. There's no, I understand what you're saying though, mate. I do. Like, the Manchester United fan base are so reactionary. We lose one game. Like, I'm not even joking, all right? I'm not slagging people off. I'm just giving an example here. We were doing watch-alongs for pre-season friendlies, okay? And I can't remember who it was against, but we were losing at half-time in a pre-season friendly. And there was genuinely people on the live watch-along saying that Erik ten Hag should be sacked because we were 1-0 down in a pre-season friendly. And it's like, that's just what we're up against. We've got the biggest fan base in the world, if not in the top 2. But there is still a portion of it that are very reactionary. If we let in a goal, sack the manager. And it's one of those ones, isn't it? It's very much one extreme to the other. If we beat Arsenal on Sunday, there'll be people saying that we're going to win the league. I'm guaranteeing it. There will be Sky Sports will be saying it. There'll be fans saying it. Everyone will be saying that we're going to win the league if we beat Arsenal, won't they? I'm not going to say that, but people will be saying it. Whereas if we lose against Arsenal, there'll be people saying you should sack Erik ten Hag. Again, that's not going to be me, but that's just what the Manchester United fan base is like. Obviously, as Jay says, because of Sir Alex Ferguson, because of, all of those amazing memories he gave us, we now just expect that. And that's just what it is, isn't it? It's frustrating, isn't it? It is what it is, though. Gorda says there's a difference between being negative and highlighting areas to improve. Yeah, mate, I 100% agree with you. I'm not saying people should be like delusional and be like, oh, we're amazing. Oh, great, we've just lost the game. Like, if you can come with constructive criticism and say, Erik ten Hag got this wrong, he got this wrong, but he got this right, then great. But just coming in saying sack the manager it's not really very productive, is it? But obviously, I don't know. People can do whatever they want, really, can't they? Malp says fans are not concerned. Fans are concerned and frustrated with what's going on, not negative. Yeah, I think generally people are like that. But there are some that are just very reactionary. We let in a goal, sack the manager. Like, that's just not great, I don't think. But obviously people are entitled to do whatever they want. Big ups to Tiborg, who has just gifted a membership as well. Big ups to Tiborg. Whoever gets the membership, please do say thank you to Tiborg. And thank you to everybody who is supporting the show this evening. Thanks to everybody who has done a super chat. Thanks to everybody who has gifted a membership. And thanks to everyone who is watching. I'm going to be going for about 10 or 20 minutes longer because we are obviously expecting the news about Sofian Amrabat. So I'm going to go till 7 o'clock and then I will be going off. Somebody says, what content will you be doing on your channel when the transfer window closes? So that's a very good question. And you know what? I want you to get in the live chat now and let me know what kind of thing you want to see from the channel when the transfer window closes. Obviously, we will still be doing morning shows every single day, and we will be doing shows throughout the day. So yeah, you'll still be able to watch us every single morning at 8 o'clock, even when the window's closed, because there's always stuff to talk about with Manchester United. So we're not going anywhere. Don't worry about that. But yeah, I would like some suggestions on things people would like to see. As I said, we will be doing fan forum type content. So there'll be videos where there's more than one person on the show. It'll be me and other people. So yeah, let me know what you think about that one. Obviously, the takeover is going to be a massive talking point as well. So there's lots to talk about. Yeah, and obviously there's lots to be discussing as a Manchester United fan. There always is, isn't there? Right, let's read out a couple more of your questions. Malp says fans are terrified that this club is falling behind. Well, we are falling behind, mate. I think now as people have just realised that. I think people have realised that Manchester United is not what it was under Sir Alex Ferguson. We haven't been like that for 10 years, you know? We haven't won a Premier League trophy for 10 years. We won the League Cup last year, which some people were laughing at us for. That was our first trophy in 4 or 5 years, you know? And I celebrated it, I did. I remember when we won the Europa League, I literally was sat at the pub with my mates and I didn't even celebrate. I was sat there like, oh, the Europa League, oh, I don't care about that. We shouldn't even be in this competition. I was so big-headed and so spoiled as a Manchester United fan that we won a trophy, a European trophy that we'd played God knows how many matches to get to, and I genuinely didn't care. Obviously, I did care. Obviously, I was happy, but I wasn't like celebrating. I was just a bit like, oh, great, we've got Champions League football. That's all that matters, and kind of moved on for it. Whereas when we won the Carabao Cup, I was absolutely buzzing. It'd been 5 years since we won a trophy. I couldn't believe it. I was over the moon. Lumen says, Kieran, what magic trick do you do to attract us all in your streams while multiple known channels are streaming ATM? I've no idea, mate. I think this is actually the first time ever that we've been live when like all of the other bigger channels are live at the same time. So I have no idea. And you know what? Thank you so much to all of you who are joining us today when there is other shows going on and you're choosing to sit with us, because I really do appreciate you all. So thank you for that. Somebody says, where in the UK do you live? I live in Bristol, which is in the southwest of England. It's about 2.5 hours from Manchester, about an hour and a half from London. Kind of, if you look on a map, towards the bottom of England. We've already got somebody saying, people are saying you look like Amrabat. Yeah, I know. I've literally been. I said to you guys, right? If we didn't get Amrabat, I would go and knock on Erik ten Hag's door and say, you know what? I'll come and play for you. People have been saying that I look like Amrabat for God knows how long. I have no issue with it whatsoever. What have we got? Joe says, Kieran, do you think that this Bayindir joining us will create another thousands of fans in Turkey? I mean, it's mad, isn't it? He's the first ever Turkish player to play for Manchester United, this Bayindir. So fair play to him. First ever Turkish player. Andrew says, you look like Jason Statham crossed with Amrabat. Mate, I have no issue with that whatsoever. I'll take it any day of the week. Any day of the week. I'm happy with that. I really, really am. Somebody was saying the other day that if I went to Manchester Airport and walked around, people would think that I was Amrabat and they would all go into a frenzy. I should have done that really, shouldn't I? I should have walked around Manchester Airport with a Morocco shirt on. Showcat Khan says, I am 60 and have been supporting this great club for 55 years now. The only two depressing facts of this club is the Glazers and playing second fiddle to Manchester City. Yeah, I hear you, mate. I do. Obviously, it is frustrating, isn't it? It is. But you just got to keep supporting them, innit? It's one of those things that you don't swap football clubs. You have good moments, you have bad moments, and you've always got to stick with your team. And that's something that I obviously will always do. Even if I don't want to watch the game, if we're playing terribly, I'm still going to watch it and I'm still going to support my team, you know? And that's why the Glazers have stayed here for so long, though. They know that whether they spend money, whether we win the league, we're still going to support the team. And that's what's benefited them, you know? Loomis says, Kieran, what position do you play? Well, I play CDM. I had a really good game in the World Cup against France. I did a really big tackle on Kylian Mbappe. If you know, you know. Anyway. Somebody says, is Amrabat our first Moroccan player? I think it might be, you know. I'm not sure, though. Don't take my word on that. I don't remember another Moroccan player from Manchester United, personally. Nigel says, why don't people know United history? In 70s and 80s, we didn't win much at all. Fergie's era was not the normal United. Yeah, mate, I do. Obviously, I do know that, but I was born in the mid-90s, so I wasn't alive in the 70s and 80s. So I kind of was born when Manchester United started to be good again. So, or started to be good at all. Irvin says, who is your all-time favourite player? That's a good question. I'd probably say Cantona. In more recent years, let's say in the last 10 years, I'd probably say Lisandro Martinez. I just like people who, when they go on the pitch, they give 120%. Obviously, they've got to be a good footballer as well. But I just like people who, you know, how much it means to them to play for Manchester United. Obviously, like Ronaldo, all of them. Like, I love Ronaldo. Even after what happened with him and how he left the club, I still love Cristiano Ronaldo. I do. But honestly, thank you everybody who's been really supportive on the show tonight. I really, really do appreciate it. Right, let's see if there's any other news coming on, because we've gone off on a bit of a tangent there, which is no problem. I have no problem answering you guys' questions. If you do have some more questions to ask me, then... So apparently there's some breaking news coming out here about Mason Greenwood. Damasio is reporting that Mason Greenwood's move to Lazio is not off. They will try and find a solution in the next 16 minutes. Very specific. I'm not sure why it's 16 minutes. Is that because the window's going to close? Yeah, so the Italian window closes at 7. So we might get a Mason Greenwood to Lazio in the next 10 or so minutes here. The window does close at 7 p.m. UK time for clubs in Italy. I mean, if he does that in the last couple of minutes of the window, maybe then we go and sign a striker. Maybe. Because we would still have 4 hours then to get a deal over the line for, you know, maybe a loan. Somebody in the chat was saying Jamie Vardy. I mean, I don't know about Jamie Vardy. Like, really? Others are saying something about Olivier Giroud, but I can't see anything on the internet whatsoever about Olivier Giroud to Manchester United. Not a single thing. So I don't know where that story's come from. It's a little bit of a strange one. Somebody says, what's your best 11 players? I mean, that's a difficult one, isn't it? That's a really difficult one. I'll come back to that. That's hard. Somebody says, will Amrabat sign his contract today or what? Amrabat is currently travelling to the UK from Florence. He's probably going to be arriving. I'm going to have a quick look now. Hold on, give me one sec. Flight tracker. He's already on the plane. Let's see if we've got it. Is this it? No. Yeah, so he's already on the plane. Apparently he's done the first bit of his medical. I would say I'm 90% sure that this deal will happen. Obviously, crazy things do happen in football sometimes. Sometimes things can happen. But I would be very, very surprised if this deal doesn't happen now. But yeah, we'll have to wait and see. Obviously, the Paulinho deal fell through today. That was a here we go. He'd done a medical and it still fell through. So yeah, things can happen. Benedict says, I discovered your channel a week ago and I really like your content. Thank you and love from Norway. Thank you very much. And thank you to all of the new subscribers and all of the new members of the channel. I really, really do appreciate you all. Irvin says, it doesn't matter how many hours are left of the window. Without money, you won't get any players. Yeah, I hear you, mate. I do. But obviously, you can get people on loan, can't you? I think that's what people are saying in the chat. People are saying, why don't we look at Taremi? Let me double check about this Taremi story, because he has apparently rejected a move to to AC Milan. So is there an option for Manchester United to try and enter this race for Taremi, maybe with a loan with an obligation to buy? I think they accepted a bid of around 15 million euros, Porto. So that is one that could happen. You know, whether they can get him to England in time to do a medical, maybe they could do a medical in Portugal. Who knows? So Taremi's agent has said the following: Milan never had any direct contact with me. Taremi warned them that they were talking to the wrong agents, and they continued to do so for 2 months. I mean, is that true? That sounds a bit unbelievable. But yeah, apparently the Taremi to AC Milan deal is off. He says, the salary that was offered was not in line with his value. I never said anything about commission. So apparently whatever AC Milan offered him was not satisfactory. So yeah, there is obviously the potential that Manchester United could go in for Taremi. Whether or not that happens, I don't know personally. I'm not sure if it will. Yeah, there's 10 minutes for Lazio to sign Mason Greenwood. And everyone who's watching who hasn't liked the video, please do like, please do subscribe. I've just dropped a link in the live chat. So yeah, we will stay live until 7 o'clock, just in case we get any news on Mason Greenwood going to Lazio. Because I do honestly think that if that happens, Manchester United will try and get somebody on loan. I do. I think that's a strong possibility, because the thing you have to remember with Mason Greenwood is he's on 75 grand a week. If you remove that money from the wage bill, then there's no reason why Manchester United can't then go and use that for they can't go and use that for another loan deal. Like, I would expect that then, because I haven't actually included Greenwood in my spreadsheet. Let me just do that quickly. I'm just adding Mason Greenwood to my spreadsheet. I've made a spreadsheet of who's left this summer, how much their wages were, how much we've saved on wages, because I think it's important for you guys to know that. Obviously, the Glazers are never going to tell us how much money they've pocketed from the wages, so I think it's important that fans do it. I mean, if Mason Greenwood goes, all right. So if we get rid of Mason Greenwood in the next kind of 2 to 3 hours, we will have saved. Hold on, let me just add Eric Bailly to this list as well. Give me 1 second, guys. I'm just working out this calculation for you. I mean, it's going to be an astronomical amount of money. It really, really is. Especially if Eric Bailly goes as well. Okay, cool. So if Mason Greenwood and Eric Bailly leave in the next however many days of the window, right, we would have saved £76 million worth of wages. 76 million. Now that is absolutely crazy, isn't it? Take in mind that the beginning of the transfer window, our wage bill was about 200 million. We'd have removed over a third of our wage bill. Mental. That would be Fred, Henderson, Elanga, Phil Jones, Tuanzebe, David De Gea, Matic Kovar, Emeran, Iqbal, Ronaldo. Obviously, Ronaldo was from January, Tellez, Greenwood, and Bailly. Absolutely mad. Jason says, will you be going live again later? Just like towards the end of the window, just so I can make sure I come back. We'll probably go live when Amrabat officially signs. Obviously, if anything else happens, if we sign another player, if somebody leaves, we will go live as well. So do make sure you hit the notification bell when you subscribe. But yeah, I'm not going to stay live for the whole evening. I'm going to try and go off and chill for a bit. But obviously, as soon as we get the official announcement of Amrabat, of course, I will go live. So let's hope that that one does happen. Somebody says, how has Harry Maguire survived another transfer window? Mate, I don't know. I honestly don't know how Harry Maguire does it. I have no ideas. He's probably going to be here till the end of his contract, I think. I think he's got 2 years left on his contract. I would not be surprised if he just refuses to leave. No surprise at all. Because we got the £30 million offer, we accepted it, and he refused to go. So who's going to really pay £30 million for him now? He's the new Phil Jones. He'll be here till the end of the window. And knowing Manchester United, we'll probably give him a new contract next season, won't we? I wouldn't be surprised. Obviously that would be ridiculous. Just a quick one. I don't know if does anybody play FIFA in the chat. We have got the official Manchester United FIFA ratings for FIFA 2024. So I'm going to run through them really, really quickly with you guys. If you don't like FIFA, then obviously I do apologise, but I quite like FIFA, so I'm going to read them out to you. So our highest rated player on FIFA at Manchester United is Casemiro. So Casemiro is 89 rated, Bruno Fernandes 88, Rashford 85, Varane 85, Onana 85, Martinez 84, Luke Shaw 83, Sancho 82, Mount 81, Martial 80, Wan-Bissaka 80, Dalot 80. Rasmus Højlund's been rated 76. That's pretty mad, isn't it? And Garnacho 75. So there you go. Anybody who plays FIFA, those are our ratings. Big ups to MUFC Charlie, who's just done a super chat. He says, Amrabat has until 12 p.m. Saturday morning to play on Sunday. Mate, I did not know that, so thank you for bringing that. I thought it was 12 o'clock today, but if that's correct, then yeah, maybe Amrabat does play on Saturday. On Sunday against Arsenal. Hopefully that can happen then. I don't see why it couldn't. Jay says, you're so selfish, you should stay on until the window closes. You don't need a life, lol. Now, I know you're joking, and I like that. I don't think I could do it, mate. I honestly don't. The problem is, right, obviously in the room I'm sat in at the moment, it's a dark room because I shut the blinds to make the lighting better. And then I've got two pretty bright lights on my face. So it's like, it's pretty intense to have here constantly. But, right, I'm still waiting to see about this Mason Greenwood thing. We've got 4 minutes until the Italy window closes. So I will stay live until then. There's still no other news on it, though. There's only this story we had like 10 minutes ago. So I would probably say that he's not going. I think Mason Greenwood will not be going to Lazio, but you never know. There's a couple of... The other thing you have to remember as well, right, is if Manchester United can buy free agents even when the window closes. So that's another interesting thing to consider. So there's 4 players that I've highlighted, right, that we could sign as a free agent. I'm not saying I want them. I'm just giving you some names or some ideas. So Eden Hazard, he's a free agent. Alfredo Morelos. Is he from Rangers? Yeah, from Rangers. Alfredo Morelos, he's a free agent, a striker. I mean, it's not very exciting, is it? But it is free. Roberto Pereira. Obviously, he used to play for Leicester, I believe. Is that the same player? No, different player. He is an Argentinian right-footed player, plays as a midfield or forward, and also Sergio Ramos. So there is a couple of deals that could happen in the last, once the window closes. Fred says, us sheep are lost without our shepherd, Kieran. Well, I don't know what to say, unfortunately. I don't know what to say. Irvin says, Kieran, do you think Qatar will pay players off just to get rid of them? I think so. Mate, I reckon they will as well. I do. I reckon they definitely will. I reckon Maguire will be gone if Qatar come in. I reckon McTominay would probably go. There'll be plenty of players that aren't in the club anymore if Qatar come in. I'm pretty confident of that. Tiborg says, do you think it would be better if we had sold McTominay and kept Fred? You know what, mate? 100%. 110%. I would much rather keep Fred and sell McTominay for 30 million. I mean, we've sold Fred for 8 million and we could have sold McTominay for 30. I would have definitely sold McTominay and kept Fred. But let me know in the comment section, guys. Would you have kept Fred and sold McTominay? Let me know your reasons. Obviously, one would have sold for 8 million and the other would have sold for 30. I mean, that kind of just answers it for me. It doesn't look like we're going to get any news about... Mark says Johnny Evans got a 1-year deal. What is the point? I don't get it. I mean, you know what? If it meant Harry Maguire was going to go, I thought it made a lot of sense. But to keep Harry Maguire and Johnny Evans, it does scare me. And I have been having nightmares about it. We're 1 or 2 injuries away from seeing Johnny Evans and Harry Maguire as our starting centre-backs. Literally. Luke Shaw is injured. He was the 4th choice centre-back. Varane's injured. He was the 1st choice centre-back. So if Martinez or Lindelof get injured, then we're seeing Johnny Evans or Maguire. That's confirmed. So it is what it is, isn't it? There's not really much we can do about that. Let me just have a quick look if there's anything else to talk about before we end the video. No, it still doesn't look like Amrabat's landed in the UK either. So we'll have to keep you updated on that one as and when we get more news. I'm going to wrap the video up here, guys. Thank you so much to everyone who has watched the show this evening. Please do make sure to smash a like on the video. Please do subscribe to the channel if you are new. And I'll speak to you all later, hopefully with the official Amrabat has signed for Manchester United news. So catch you guys in a little bit. I'll speak to you hopefully in not too long. Bye for now.